About 8 years ago, I started thinking about the foundations of civilization, and I have a project that is linked from my LinkedIn profile called Future Scenario Planning. And I haven't had a chance to merge. I think I took a lot of this content and added to it, and this evolved into Future Scenario Planning, which also includes many other areas, including effective immigration, amongst many other areas. So I didn't really categorize future scenario planning as a reality between simplicity and complexity, or chaos and order, or sense making. I just so that's uh, since that time I've been thinking about AI as a passive observer, or kind of researching it independently. And how can I make this bigger? Let me see. Nope. So the title of this video now is not just steps towards a type 3 civilization in a Kardashev sense, which wouldn't be just energy or space, because there's different interpretations of the Kardashev model. Or when I think of the Drake's equation, I think of hierarchical models for intelligence or consciousness, which, depending on your view, are different conversations. I suspect consciousness does not equate intelligence. I used to think that. I suspect that consciousness can traverse space and time and possibly survive the bodily death. So you could say that's a religious interpretation. I don't ascribe to any religious philosophy. So this is my thinking. I could be wrong, but it's a deeper conversation about consciousness. I won't get into consciousness right now, but it is a very important conversation. Uh, so what I've done is I've tried to, since 2015, I was listening to different AI researchers, and I try to model this mathematically. I'm going to need some help here. And oh, here we go. 42, maybe 75% is better. Here we go. And hide this. Maybe slightly less. Okay. Yeah, okay. Here we go. Oh, no, slightly less. Okay, we're better prepared for this. Oh, here we go. Can I fit this to screen? Exit 40 something. I'll try it. Okay, it's cutting off. Oh, here we go. Um, so before I begin, let me say I'm not a AI researcher, nor do I have a background in STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics. The information that you see in front of you is uh, speculative at best. I'm not even sure if I'm representing this information um, accurately. So I'm going to need some help on the math side of things. But here's how I'm thinking about it. So with those disclosures in place, today, artificial intelligence is a combination of developments in two schools, particularly the in random order, the connectionist school, which is more recent, and historically the symbolic school. And there's possibly a merger of the two, um, and happening in different situations or surroundings. Um, the public version of cutting edge AI that we see is with models like ChatGPT, which are enabled on top of something that is known as the large language models. Um, GPT itself stands for general purpose transformers, and I don't know a lot about this, but basically there's a fair bit of statistics, probability, uh, linear algebra, and what else is there? Uh, yeah, I think from mathematically, the following statistics, linear algebra, and I think there was something else. They feed into the machine learning models that then enable the transformer technology in order to power things like ChatGPT. I don't know if the same technology is behind, as in the same correlates mathematically are behind models like Dolly, which seems to be more like generative AI, as in the artificial intelligence's capacity to be able to generate new designs based on the previous data set that it has been trained on. So I won't get into the details, but generally speaking, like that's kind of like one of the cutting edge AIs. I won't get into all the details because AI is going everywhere. It's there for language translation. Um, so when you use Google for translating text from English into any other language, there's the AI being used there. It's being used for voice to text or text to voice. It's being used for medical diagnoses. Uh, it's also being used for many other areas, which I'm not going to go through an exhaustive list. But in a very bare bones kind of, in a nutshell, and that's where we are today, and that's kind of like the tip of the ocean. What's it called? What was the metaphor? That's like a tiny slice into what's really happening in AI today, and that's in the known kind of realm. There's some predictions that there's going to be something called AGI, which stands for Artificial General Intelligence. And a crude definition from my perspective would be um, that AGI is going to be able to do any task that a human can. I would think both in the realm of software, any cognitive task that requires computation. Uh, I would think any task, period, um, including tasks involving robotic dexterity. Um, so the general prediction is that a general purpose intelligence that's going to be able to do any task that a human can is going to be here by 2028. There are lower end estimates suggesting that this could be here in 2 years, as in the end of 2025, uh, at the most 2028. So there are other predictions too historically that this is not going to be achieved for another 100 or 200 years, as has been made. I think it was a CTO of Siri who made this prediction about, I think, a while ago, almost a decade ago, or somebody who was one of the co-founders of Siri. It is also possible that AGI is also here, already here. I'm not going to speculate on that, although I've thought about that personally, but I will refrain from adding too much of my own commentary here. So, generally speaking, we're looking at an AGI in the 2028 timeframe or earlier. which means there is a very distinct possibility of most, if not all, the jobs being automated, which is something that some people have researched on the planet. It depends on how far back you want to go, from Niels J. Nielsen to, I don't know how much of Nick Bostrom's research is focused on that, to the Oxford report on automation and its impact on the workforce going back 2013, and they had a update on that. Now, I should choose my words carefully because I don't want to cite these sources and then going back to what I said, that some or all the jobs could be automated. Most jobs could be automated. The more routine jobs are, the higher the likelihood that the jobs are going to be automated. But is it fair to say that all jobs could be automated? Now, I don't know what the consensus is by individuals who are AI researchers. Uh, in the report originally that was released by Oxford, I think I was trying to go back, and I don't know if they updated their reports, but I think in the 2013 version there was a line that said, with specific breakthroughs, all the jobs could go the way of automation. And if you go back to individuals like Niels J. Nielsen, who was an IEEE AI Hall of Fame recipient, the late Niels J. Nielsen from Stanford, uh, I'm pulling all this from memory. Uh, and I have answers. I have other thoughts on Quora, Quora, if anyone's interested. But Niels J. Nielsen wrote a paper called Artificial Intelligence, Employment and Income, which, if I remember correctly, was written in 1984. And in that, it's a very rich paper. It's not very long, but it requires your full attention. Probably going to take uh, like time to digest on a Saturday afternoon with a pot of coffee on the side. And it's a very rich paper where Nielsen, amongst other things, talks about the factories of the future. I guess in some sense, Nielsen's paper did influence my thoughts, perhaps unconsciously. Um, but every time I think I've read that paper at least twice. But every time I read the paper, it's a rich paper, like not in a material sense. It's very compact, and it's very, very well written from an uneducated perspective. So yeah, coming back to the impact that AGI is going to have, is like there's definitely a couple of core areas. Again, this is again from my non-educated perspective. I'm not an AI researcher, but in random order, first of all, is the huge issue of AI safety, or AGI safety in this case. And there are many key individuals who have been an advocate of AI safety. And I personally feel that it would be extremely irresponsible for anyone who is developing or deploying AI models in the world without a focus on safety and regulation. And I won't go through the names. From an educator perspective, some of the folks, I disagree with their stance on the topic, uh, but I don't disagree as a writ, or because I don't know what I'm talking about. It's more so that there are fuzzy areas in my own understanding, and so I cannot agree or disagree on uh, certain kind of suggestions being made. That being said, if you zoom out, there's a general recommendation for ensuring that guardrails need to be developed around AI, or artificial intelligence, as we're taking steps towards getting to an artificial general intelligence. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stop here, um, because I am using an online tool in order to be able to what's it called record this. So I don't want to. I think I'm going to run out of space there, so I'm going to stop this and do this part two.